Welcome to your Real Estate Update with Darren Ahearn. Each week, we break down housing trends, mortgage updates, buyer and seller strategies, and the local changes shaping Frederick County and beyond. No fluff, just smart insight to help you make better decisions with your home and your money.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to your wild and crazy real estate update. I'm your host, Darren Ahearn from Remax Results, bringing you over 23 years experience in the Maryland and PA region, all over the place. Anywhere you can smell a house, see a house, think about a house, I am there for you. So we are here at Studio 401 North Market Street, right here for the Everything Live platform. So thank you guys for tuning in so much. I am here to be able to help you out and to give tips and tricks, give you updates on the real estate market and all that good stuff. So if you've never been with us, buckle in. Somebody said, "Oh, I know who you are. You're the real estate nerd." I took that as a compliment. I love it. So now I'm known as the real estate nerd in Frederick County, Maryland. I love it. I'll take it. I guess you can call me whatever you like. Like and subscribe, click, hit the bell. Make sure that you guys share this with everybody that you know out there. And then you'll be notified each and every Monday night when we're coming on here from the studio. So, and also fun giveaway. We're doing Sheets gift card, $100 gift card to Sheets. This is a contest I've been running, and it's all predicated on one big thing. Whoever can tell us the big thing of interest rates. Right now, we're at about 6.76. Sorry, if we get over 7, that's bad. But 6.76%. Whoever can tell us what day that interest rates are going to be down to 6.25%. This is called wishful thinking, open praying. We've got to get these rates down. The Fed doesn't want to lower rates. Nobody wants to touch nothing. It's been flat as a board. But I'm telling you what, my contest is going to do it. Mr. Warsh down there at the Fed chair. And by the way, it's not directly related to it, but it does follow suit for all those people that run the 10-year treasury and all the other fun stuff that dictate mortgage rates. Please, for the love of God, it's like the guy that says, stop raining, stop doing it. Like, get those rates down, because that's what everybody's waiting for. We're not going to see a crash of rates or prices. It's not going to get back to 2 or 3%. But we would really like to see it by the time Santa Claus comes this year. Can you believe we're talking about Santa Claus? We'd love to see interest rates at 6.25%. So whoever can drop it in there, I got to get your information, put your name and phone number. Tell me, what day do you think interest rates, according to the Mortgage News Daily app, which is amazing, you got to download that. When we hit 6.25%, somebody's going to get a $100 gift card. And whoever's the closest to the date or right on the date. So I have about 18 or 19 people, I think, already that have already registered for that. So make sure you're next and going to be one of those. So drop your name in. What day do you think interest rates will be at 6.25%? So, all right, QQQ questions. If you have any questions about real estate, no matter what it is, I am here to do my best to answer that. One of the big things tonight, we're going to get into a massive hot topic and cover more ground on a lot of stuff that, man, I just wish I had more time. But we're going to hit it. We also want to know your victories. So make sure you drop a question in and I'll get to it. Make sure your victories. We want to know your wins. How many of you guys out there have gotten like grant money? I got buyers getting $17,500 grant money. We got some buyers already a couple times this year. And Merit Mortgage Program, a bunch of great stuff out there. And so make sure you know about that. Wins, victories, getting a house under contract settlement. Had one today. Bloomfield up there, 55 and older community, been building this house nearly 1 year ago, started the whole process. And my people are just loving life coming from Wisconsin, and they're loving it. They get to live here now, and they're official, unofficial residents of Maryland, and also welcome to Frederick. So, all right. So make sure your questions, wins, all that stuff, drop it in here and let me know what that might be. And I'll make sure I make note of that. So also, I'm a trusted resource. I'm Maryland, PA licensed. Also have a team. We help out in Virginia, West Virginia, and the whole, Tri-County and all the area. But anywhere you need help with real estate question, anything, selling, buying, investing, renting, anything like that, I do have awesome referral partners that are in the top 3% of the entire country that are amazing. They've most of them 20 years plus experience like myself, and they're going to give you the best, and you're going to get great service and help you with the journey onto home ownership or selling. So I'm here as a trusted resource. Let me know. I got you covered and all that if you're outside of the area that I immediately work in. So, and also real quick, don't forget to tune in every single Saturday. Your Frederick Real Estate Update on WFMD 930 Radio. I'm on from 11 to 11:30. Terry Kernan and he's from Presidential Bank Mortgage, one of our awesome sponsors, and you're going to see some of his information again and how to get a hold of him. So great stuff. Also, our other awesome sponsors, Community Title Network, Brianne Paul over there, and the one and only, the Queen of Frederick of Insurance, Miss Connie Phillips Insurance. She is amazing. And next coming up, also last programs, 10 of them already. Go back in the podcast drop down in the reels. You'll get to see all my programs here. And then also this next week, we're going to have Amy Phillips on from Connie Phillips Insurance. That's Connie's daughter, and her and I are going to be talking some crazy shop about what in the world's going on with the insurance industry, how it affects you with homeowners and everything else alike. So, all right. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. We're going to have fun. Buckle up. This is your weekly dose of real estate reality. So, all right, we're going to dive into Frederick stuff first. Frederick is always first. This is our hometown. The Brickworks project, lots of real estate. Everything's commercial building, restaurants, convention centers, Brickworks, this thing, the Banyon's up and running now, and on and on and on, and all the new restaurants and fun. Before you know it, I'll tell you, Carroll Creek, probably in 20 or 30 years, man, we're going to have high rises, 30 feet up. I don't know, 300 feet up story buildings. Who knows what Frederick's going to look like in 10 or 20 years. But it's only going to get bigger. And the biggest thing is it's only going to be more expensive, as we know. Our area is doing really, really good. I get it all the time. Hey, Darren, how's the market? I get that every week. How's the market? I tell people it's all up to you. The market's exactly what you want it to be because the market never lies. Here's the real truth of the market. Buyers would love for prices and everything to be 2008, and sellers, oh, you gotta love you sellers out there. You guys think it's 2021 still. You're dancing around partying like it's 2021, and it's not. It's 5 years later, and things have changed. Prices are not going sky high no more. In fact, we've been flat, level down, tiny bit up, flat, level down. That's been the name of the game, and but it's good. You're at the top. There's no crash. There's nothing bad. It's fine. You just can't make sure you have a good plan, and you can't make a mistake by not listening to your agent or trying it on your own. And then it gets catastrophic by tens of thousands of dollars at a time. And that's never fun. I never want to see somebody lose money. They don't have to unless they want to do life the hard way, as we say. So, all right. Frederick stats. Here we go. All right. We've been hovering at this is something I've not seen in my whole career. For 6 weeks now, today's inventory, there are 709 homes for sale. Now, 101 coming soon. So if you add those both together, what's on the market coming and what's in the market for sale, we would have just a little over 800 homes. So, but right now, 709 homes on the market total. And that's been there 699 week before 705, 709. And so we're not going up in inventory. We're not seeing anything negative, bad in any which way, shape, or form in that regard. So, and I'm going to share a couple more numbers as I'll revisit that real fast about that within an article and thing I have. So under contract, 495 homes under contract. We're almost cresting 500. We will see that probably happen in the next week or two, maybe 3 weeks. And then we'll peak out. We'll get to maybe 525, 550 homes, maybe under contract. We'll see. And then we'll go down a little bit, tiny bit from there as we go into, can believe it, we're talking about the fall market. Seriously. End of the spring times. Now summer time's almost over. Kids are going back to school soon. 2 more weeks. You're lock and loaded in the classrooms, boys and girls. These are the transactions right now I'm working on. I think I have 6 or 7 settlements this month. And wow, I just had one today. We're settling at the end of this month on the 27th. And the agent called me. It's one of my listings and said, hey, can your seller settle sooner? My buyers, they are getting their house sold sooner and they want to get here sooner, get the kids in school sooner, get the shopping done and get settled sooner. And it's like, oh, got little kids. That's what the deal is here. We want to try to accommodate Susie and Johnny, do we? So we'll see. We'll work on it, but we love the kids. So, all right, sold 345 past 30 days. But here's the big thing with resale, with the numbers. The most astounding number that I've seen change probably in the last week or two, days on the market. So across the United States, it's nearly 50 days on the market. And we've been hovering about 35, 38. Depends where you are, price point, and all that kind of stuff. So I look at it broad as a whole, but then I go very granular. Like I have a listing down in Village Urbana, Highlands. Gorgeous community, of course, down there. Beautiful, beautiful. Whole different world than mid and upper Frederick County. Things sell usually a little bit quicker, a little bit for more because you're closer, commute, all that. But days on market, you can't compare Thurmont and Village Urbana. You just really can't take those averages and medians and compare them up. So, but here's the thing we're seeing. We've been in that 33 to 38 days range again for a very long time. And the median, we've crept up to 45 days. We've added in the last 2 weeks, 7 more days average to sell your home in all price points. Wow. How does that happen? I mean, that's a pretty good shift pretty quickly. We've not seen that in a while. We're still seeing we're seeing inventory flat, not going up at all. So why in the world would days on the market? Here's the deal. I think a lot of sellers in general are still hoping and praying that the summer frenzy, the summer buyers hang on just real tight for just a little longer. So they're holding out. There's still a pretty good segment of sellers that say, nope, I'm going to get my price. If I don't get my price, I'm going to be that rage delisting coming up. I'm going to take my house on the market. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to pick up my toys. I'm going to go home. Well, I am home. I'm going to stay home. And then we'll just see what happens next year in the springtime or whenever, they have to move. So I think there's a segment of that that's still lingering as a pretty high number. And then the second part of that would be the sellers that say, you know what, I do need to sell. I'm pretty motivated, but let's just wait one more week. The next weekend, I'll get my price. And so they want to prolong days on the market a little bit higher. And then it just isn't working out because rates are not coming down. Prices are not coming down. Buyer demand is already coming down a little bit. And it's coming down off the peak only because it's seasonal. And what adds insult to injury is the fact that interest rates, they've been hovering at 6 3/4 now. And everybody's been sitting around as buyers hoping, wishing, praying rates will go down to 3%. There are literally buyers waiting for 3%. Again, they'll be dead. They'll never own a house. It's just not going to happen. Well, I don't want to say never, but it may be 20 or 30 years and I'll be gone. So, but if that's you, you're going to be sorry because you'll be buying a townhouse you'll be paying $1 million for a condo here in Frederick before your rates get down to that probably. So, all right. So that's the big thing with Frederick numbers and the list to value ratio for the homes that I've been selling, been 38 days on the market. The median price, another big thing, $510,000. So that's a big significant number, and I'll show you why in a minute. List price ratio actually is up a little bit, 99.5%. So that's pretty impressive. We were at 98.6, and now we're at 99.5 just in 2 weeks' time. And so that's been pretty good for all things considering. All right, so let's get into some of the next things here. Let's see. I'm gonna start into this next thing. This whole next segment is called Let's Ask Chat. Let's ask Grunk. Let's ask all the AI bots and see what in the world they all are thinking here. Okay, so we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna take a commercial break. So let me read through this a little bit and run it up. All right, as up, let's see what Chat thinks about the Frederick County market. What do you think of Frederick County, Chat? He says, as as of August 2016, Frederick County housing has looked more balanced than it did during the pandemic boom. No kidding, Chatty. But it's not the buyer's market is in a traditional sense. Well-priced homes can still move quickly. That's an anomaly. And while overpriced homes, less desirable properties are sitting longer and becoming more negotiable. All right, Frederick County market snapshot. He says that the typical home value, 509. Well, I had 513. Chat, you're wrong. I got the right numbers. Essentially flat. I'm having fun. Year over year, according to Zillow. So Zillow is saying, hey, we're flat as a board. Zillow, you're wrong. Hate to tell you, but you're wrong. I'm going to give you some more numbers. Median list price here is about 550, pretty close, according to the latest Realtor.com data. And the median list price in July was 549,950. It was 553. So I'm pretty impressed. They're pretty close. I like it. For sale inventory, roughly 900 homes in June on Zillow. That's a little high. Not sure where they're getting a few extra homes from we didn't know about. With 431 new listings of the month. Median days on the market about 28. Wrong. Median days is not 28. It's just a little bit higher. Now, in certain price points, I would agree. If it's probably 350 and under, that's probably true. But once you add in everybody into the median, it was, like I said, in the mid 30s. So Redfin's rolling 3-month average of Redfin's through June showed 513,551 median sale price. And this is the one I was like, wait a minute, up 4.4 year over year. And that's not in all price points. I promise you, it's not quite that good. There may be some segments or some areas or communities as a whole in those little pockets, I should say, that maybe could be up 4.5%. But that's a little bit of a stretch because as of right now, with all things, we're up about 2.1% year to date. So this is year over year, but that's still a little bit, just a tiny bit high maybe. With homes taking about 36 days to sell, that has been pretty accurate, as we've talked about. So there's some variations. I love how they put this in their chat. You're awesome. Grunky, you're great. There are some little variations between the data providers because they measure different things, asking prices versus closed sales, different time periods and different property styles and sets, and wouldn't focus on any one number median identity. So that's true. All right, what does all this mean in practical terms? Prices aren't collapsing. That's right. As we've said, prices are not collapsing. I have people asking me, how in the world with the economy and the war and the gas prices and this and that, how are home, because the demand is still relatively high and balanced in retrospect to the sellers that are selling right now. There are a lot of pent-up sellers that are waiting. What are they waiting for? They're waiting for life change. They're waiting for, something that they have to be forced to sell. And then buyers, same thing, just waiting to be able to buy as well. So prices aren't collapsing despite higher mortgage rates. Freddie County prices have remained, I love this word. I thank you for using this, Chatty. Remarkably resilient. That's my new catchy word now. Remarkably resilient. You think? We're in a great area. This is probably one of the highest incomes and jobs in the whole country. Depending on the data set and time periods, we're seeing anything from essentially flat appreciation to roughly 4% annual growth. Now, come on, Chatty. This is a big spread, man. If I go to a listing and say, hey, look, your house is up 4.5%, 5%, people are like, well, that's great. Wow, I didn't know that. I thought the whole sky is falling. And then to be able to say flat appreciation, that's a big spread, 4%. Let's think. If you have a $500,000 home, $500,000 home average, that's $20,000 difference in spread. That's a little bit of money right there. But like I said, we're really, really close as a whole, about 2.1% year to date up. Now, this is pretty sweet considering we're in August. If the trend continues, Frederick County, we should be at average. We should be between 3 and 4% appreciation for the year, which would be really, really good. So, all right. So I wouldn't characterize Frederick County as a declining market or a crash scenario. And I love this. They put this in there right now. Well, no, not right now. And we never want that. Buyers have more leverage than they did a few years ago. Inventory has increased substantially from the extremely tight 2020 to 2022 period. By the way, the lowest we ever got was 99 homes for sale in Frederick County. That was insanity. That was stupid. That was for every house for sale. We had 14 buyers. We've never seen that before. Never seen that before. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. That gives buyers more choice and makes it less necessary to waive every contingency or immediately bid thousands of dollars over asking price. So let's talk real fast about inventory, just to put things in perspective. Like I said, back in 2021, we hit the lowest ever. We hit 99 homes for sale. By the time we got to 2023, on this day in 2023, August 10th, we had 268 homes for sale. Man, we were feeling good. We were like, wow, we got some homes to pick from now, Mr. Buyer. 2024, it went up to 398 on this day. Last year on this day, we were at 665. Today, we're at 709. So yes, even though inventory is up 15 to 20% or whatever, over year growth, it's still not even close to being a buyer's market. And that's the facts. All right, next big segment in this, it says, but there are important distinctions. The best houses are still competitive. Zillow, we love our little Zillios, Mr. Zestimate. Zillow reports that about 39.7% of the county sales here were above the list price. Wow. So these are the smart sellers. They're aggressive. They get bidding wars, fistfights in the front yards, and they're putting extra cash in their pocket, more than they would have gotten typically. Wow. But we have 33.9% sold below list price. So half, 1/3 of seller, man, get it. And then the median sale list price ratio, essentially 100%, almost. When we said 99.5. So those are the numbers with this. It's hot and colds. It's either sellers get it. They're like, oh no, I ain't risking. I ain't losing $10,000 chasing the market down or more. And then you got the other sellers that are like, oh no, the market's great. We just want to have fun. We don't want to plan, and we'll be okay losing more money later and getting less by not doing it right. So this tells us that the market is two-tiered, and it says a good house plus good condition, location, correctly priced is competitive. And a house that's overpriced and poor condition and not the best location and on equals, they put negotiable. Well, that's being polite, Mr. Zonky. All right, here we go. Mortgage rates hit the big issues. 30 years, as we know, 6.69. Today it's 6.76, and it's gone up little by little bit. We've pretty much flattened out. It's going to be a little while before we see rates coming back down again. That's probably the biggest key factor in the Frederick market that's becoming much hotter. For example, a $500,000 home, 20% down at 6.69%, 30-year mortgage is approximately $25.75 a month. Principal and interest only before taxes, insurance, and all the other stuff in HO and everything else. Taxes. We're going to use a whole segment on that with taxes. What in the world with all the new assessments and taxes? This is just not good. It's high. Homeowner insurance going up. Amy, you got some explaining to do about that a little bit coming up next week. And the HOA stuff, again, a lot of them are requiring for lenders' approvals for loans to be viable with certain loan types. Freddie and Fannie Mae and Mac is basically they're wanting more reserves. They're wanting different numbers for cash reserves to lower limits of riskability and to hand out loans and such. So that obviously makes it a little more difficult and challenging for somebody that lives in a condo, typically more than anything else. So they're also changing condos. I will tell you this. I just saw a podcast this week, and most of these loan programs are going to get a lot tighter with condos. Sorry if you live in a condo. If you're going to sell it, the short form is pretty much going to get dissolved out. Almost all of them are going to be looking, these lenders and underwriters, to do the long form, they call it. That means they want to know everything, not just a drive-by. They want to know everything. Frederick County isn't one market, as we've said. It's broken up. City of Frederick, Urbana, Imesville, Middletown, Newmarket, Walkersville, and depending where you're at, and then the more rural areas, like where I live, up in Billsville, the prices in the market and the buyer demand is completely different. So, all right. So that's that segment of that. Let me look at this real quick here. Balance the slightly favorable market with increasing buyer negotiating power. It says the factor. Home prices, stable, moderately rising. Inventory, improving. Yeah, it's not good for sellers if you got a ton of homes for sale in your neighborhood and they're not moving. But overall, it is improving for buyers. Buyer competition's moderate. Sellers leverage, still decent. That just depends on how you price it and how it shows. Negotiating power is better for buyers. That's true. It's shifting little by little. Mortgage rates significantly on affordability is a headwind and a chance of a major crash, not strong evidence. Currently, and best prices of homes are still competitive. Best prices, I would say, to define that, Mr. Gronk and Mr. Chatty, anything basically under $400,000, that's kind of a really good deal in Frederick, depending on what it is and the condition and everything else. But as far as affordability, there's not too many of them out there, okay? So the national market showing signs of normalization, and it talks a little bit more about that. So, all right, so that's the big rundown on the Frederick market, and this is the fun stuff. I love it to see what in the world does chat and all those say. Last segment of it, it says, especially for buyers. If you're looking to buy a house in this market, this is what chat tells you to do. Let me pull in close. This is the secret. Ready? Find homes that are sitting on the market for 30 days plus. Well, that means sellers are probably more motivated by that point. So if you're a seller and you get the 30 days, you've missed the boat. That's according to Gronk and Chatty, but I would say 14 days. I've always said that 14 days, buyers begin to start to wonder what's wrong with it. Previous price reductions. Look for homes that are already making reductions. Sellers who have already moved, homes needing cosmetic work, seller paid closing costs and buy downs is big now. It's starting to grow more and more where sellers are saying, okay, I'm more willing to give some concessions and get this house off the market. Properties where comparable recent sales do not support the asking price. This is where you need to be having a really good realtor, somebody that's going to basically scour the market and the communities and what's selling and knows it very, very well and can basically guide you into what's the basically what the feel is for that asking price. Every single time I take buyers out, I do that pretty much before I even look at the house. I have a pretty good feel of what's going on around it in general. So, all right, we're going to come back and we are going to talk about the big subject that we were working on last week. What in the world do buyers and sellers do when all hell breaks loose with a real estate transaction? And what that means is settlements. What happens when they're delayed? What are all the factors? What are the biggest things that can take place? And there's so many of them that you must know about and pay attention to and have a good agent that can help you with this, that can hedge off these things and be proactive in this. So thank you guys so much. Our awesome sponsors. Check this out.
Hi there. I'm Brianne Paul, an attorney with Community Title Network, the most trusted title partner for real estate professionals, buyers, and sellers. Our experienced attorneys, settlement agents, and processing staff put you at ease whether your closing involves residential real estate, commercial real estate, or other real estate matters in between. We work with the most respected title underwriters in the region to make sure your rights are protected and all title problems are resolved quickly. Experience close to home with our many locations, serving Maryland, Virginia, West Virginia, Delaware, Washington, D.C., and Ohio, as well as remote signing options available. Reliable, efficient, top-notch service. That's Community Title Network. How can we help you today? Find us online at www.communitytn.com or call us at 301-304-6620.
Life doesn't always go as planned, but with Connie Phillips Insurance, you'll be ready for whatever comes your way. As an independent agent, CPI shops multiple carriers to find the right coverage at the right price. Auto, home, life, or business, we got you covered with personal service you can trust. Call Connie Phillips Insurance today at 301-662-5717. Remember, advising what's in your best interest, not just selling policies.
All right. I'm Darren Ahearn, your host from RE/MAX Results here, and your weekly real estate update right here, catching you on for Frederick so that you know what is happening on the pulse. So would love to hear from you. Make sure you drop in your comments and what is important to you. Anything you want to ask me up and let me know what it is you want to talk about, and we will jot those down and we will visit those as we continue to grow the program. All right, we're going to get right on into it. What in the world do sellers and buyers do? How could something ever go wrong with a real estate transaction? Never. It can never happen. It's perfect. Smooth as can be. Smooth sailing. How'd y'all like that big storm today? That's kind of like real estate. Comes out of nowhere. 80-mile-an-hour winds. Things go wild. It's crazy. So, all right. Last time we were talking here a little bit, we talked about first the segment about financial issues when it happens. What are some of the things that cause a settlement to get delayed? And Only 6% of settlements crash and burn. Homes out of 100 transactions, 6 of them never make it to the finish line. And there are various reasons for that. But those are always really bad. Those are just catastrophic. Okay. I've had a few of them, not too many, but they've been pretty bad. It's been a death of a client during a transaction. I mean, we're talking major big stuff, you know. Financing problems. The first one, the buyer's loan is not approved on time. Oh boy. Listen to last week. We talked in a little bit more detail about that. The lender requests additional documentation. Woo, they're usually pretty good about this, but every so often they need additional documentation. The buyer changes jobs. Whatever you do, do not change your job in the middle of a transaction. And if you're thinking about it, no, you don't want to get fired. But even if you're thinking about it because like, oh, it's a promotion, it's great. If I'm making more money, what's the problem? I'll still get my loan approved. Make sure you talk to the lender. Make sure you talk to Terry. He's awesome. He'll tell you what to do and not to do. Don't take on new debt. They take large purchases. We talked about that. Biggest mistake a lot of agents do not let their buyers know or inform them of is whatever you do when you're buying a house and getting a loan, do not go buy a car. Do not go buy new furniture. Yeah, but the furniture, the new stuff's not delivered for 5 weeks. Don't do it. You'll screw everything up. Okay? The appraisal comes in below the purchase price. We're going to hit on that coming up here. The lender has underwriting delays, and then the final loan documents are not ready to go yet. That's pretty rare, but it can happen. One of the things I thought about that I did not recognize that is rare, but it can happen is the USDA loans and types. Because they have to go through the main underwriting process of the loan underwriter that you're getting your loan from. These state programs, USDA and rural housing loans and other grant monies and such like that, they also have to, the file has to be looked at also by another entity. And then they have to look at it, make sure everything's squeaky clean and that they're going to be able to grant these money and things like that. So USDA has a little bit of extra layers on them. And so this is really important. Most of the lenders that are pretty seasoned know this. They know that it takes a little extra time. We get it all the time. Buyers ask, why are some loans, they get done in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks? And why does some take 30 days or longer? And this is why, because it depends on the program, the overlays, the grant money involved. It depends on a lot of those things. But another thing to do it is if you're getting grant money in certain programs, Maryland mortgage program and such, you as a buyer have to take a class online to be able to get this loan approved and everything. And so it's really good. You can't wait till the last second. You can be like, oh, I forgot. I'll just do that tomorrow. And then settlements tomorrow. No, it doesn't work like that. You've got to do this in advance. Good lender, again, is going to tell you, hey, schedule that out. Here's the link. This is a big one with lender financing problems is the CD, the closing disclosure by law. And when I got into this business, this never was a big deal. This didn't even exist. Half this stuff didn't exist. Things you got to pay attention to. The closing disclosure must be sent out no sooner than 3 days before settlement, no matter what. No matter if there's a delay or not a delay of any sorts or whatever. The lender's number one thing is to make sure that you get clear to close and that all the numbers, once those are established with your financing, that's it. It cannot change. It gets signed off on underwriting. And you as a consumer, you must get that 3 days before settlement to be able to review, to sign it, and to be good with all the figures and everything else like that. Now, we as agents, we do not, I always tell people it's coming. The lender's going to work on it. But we do not see that closing disclosure. That is only for you. I see the settlement sheet usually about the same time or close to it, 2 days before settlement for the buyer's side, a little sooner for the sellers. And my job is to go over all the little numbers and be able to disseminate if everything looks pretty good. And we know what to look for the most part that are good at this. The title company, if you have a question, and it happens a lot. I just had one recently. Again, lots of questions about the settlement sheet. The title company answers those predominantly. Okay. I don't do their job. I tell people I know enough to be dangerous. I'll explain it the best I can as your real estate agent. But at the end of the day, title company, that's why they're there. They're the ones that put the numbers together. They're the ones that do the pro diem calculations. They're the ones that balance everything. They're the ones that have all the figures that come in from the lender, the state stuff, the recordation, the transfer taxes, their fees, the lender fees, our stuff as realtors, all of it. Everything winds up into one little ball, and that is it. And it is cool. So if you've never seen a title settlement Alta statement sheet, it's called, it's pretty lengthy, pretty long. It can have a lot of different things in there. Some of the different loan types do not have everything. They don't need to have everything, in a sense that there's other items of different loan types that would have something another one wouldn't. Okay. All right. Title issues. We talked a little bit about that. Unpaid liens, judgments, unknown heirs or ownership disputes. Woof. You don't want that before settlement. Errors in public records, boundary or easement disputes, missing releases from previous mortgages. 9 out of 10 times, community title, Brianne and their team, they are really good at getting that stuff cleared up. We don't even know about it, thank God, as agents. It just gets done. Problems that are discovered during the title search, and this is a big one. We don't want no surprises, and they know that. They're good at it. They uncover things and to deal with it. Inspections or repair issues. We talked about this a little bit, about major problems during home inspection, repairs not being done and agreed. Re-inspections reveal unfinished or inadequate work. And parties cannot agree on the repair credit or costs, and they're still negotiating everything. And there comes a point where we have to get this stuff agreed upon, because it has to go, and these numbers have to be going to the lender, to the underwriter, and being added into the factor of the loan type, okay? And what credits are there. So those are some of those items. The next one I told you I was going to hit is the appraisal issue. This one is rare, typically. We don't see a lot of the appraisals. All right, so when a buyer's buying a house, your lender is who orders the appraisal. They typically do that within about 3 to 5 days of a contract being accepted. So let's say settlements 35, 40 days out as an average, or even if it's 30 days out, 1 month. By the time that gets ordered, and by the way, as a buyer, you pay for that unless the lender's going to give you credit and pay for it, which I've seen at times. What happens is they order it, and then it takes about a week to get lined up, scheduled, round robin, chosen and done, selected who's doing it. And then they come out and they do the appraisal, and then they have about 10 days, sometimes up to different loan types, to get it back. So the bottom line is within 14 days, there should be no reason why it's not back in time. Now, one of the things that's really important that could cause more delays down the road is the fact that we are going to see appraisers starting in the fall. They're going to have more responsibility and a little bit more workload, a little more things to pay attention to, more things to fill out for the underwriter. Do not be surprised if the cost of appraisals go up, period. They're already up at $500, $600, $700, $800 or more to do. I will not be surprised if we see the average appraisal start to get to $800 to $1,000 on appraisal. So don't be surprised. It's just because it's more involved. And not only that, it may take a little longer as well, which could delay and threaten to delay a settlement even more. So, all right, low appraisal issues, because once that appraisal is done and it gets turned into the lender, it has to go to the underwriter. The underwriter has to sign off on it. And all of those things basically take some time. Now, with AI, I am wondering in the future how much faster things can get done by them and having to go through the file. They can just submit everything. AI basically does the risk assessment, if you will, or catches any red flags and things, and all of a sudden it gets kicked back very quickly, more so than a human could do. And I think that's going to be on the way at some point. I wouldn't doubt it one bit. All right, so appraisal issues, low appraisal requirements. Oh, this could delay things. In appraisal renegotiation, the appraised value didn't come in. We're off 10,000, 20, 50, whatever. Now, the buyers and sellers, they now have to renegotiate potentially the whole entire contract of sale based on the appraisal not coming in at value. Now, there's no legal set contractual time limit to have this done. It does say that within, unless otherwise stated, 3 days, once the appraisal comes back and the buyer, the lender, it's lower than the asking price, the agreed to sale price, 3 days. Within 3 days, that has to be sent back to the seller. And now within 3 days, the seller has to respond too. So you got like 6 days. That's kind of atypical. But once you pass those 6 days, once that gets sent over, and once the seller receives it, and once they respond back, there is no time frames. That's the whole thing. There's nothing set in writing anymore. It's wide open. And so now if you have a seller that digs their heels in, a buyer that digs their heels in and not willing to negotiate, split the cost, split the difference. You bring some cash, I lower the price, whatever. If this stuff doesn't get worked out pretty quickly, there's no doubt about it. Within 5 to 10 days or more of this going on, the lenders are going to get nervous. The underwriters are going to be like, hey, what's the outcome of this appraisal? What's the contract changes? What's been agreed to and all that. This is really important because once that happens, it has to go back through underwriting, re-looked at, re-signed off on, and then sent back out. So these kind of things, if this appraisal doesn't come in for 18, 20 days, and then you have an issue, there's absolutely no doubt about it. You could be down to the line. We could definitely see things get delayed. And the problem is the lenders are scrambling. And then the title company is, because the title company said, hey, get us the file. We need the loan package. We need to know all the figures. Can't send that over if we don't have it final clear to close and through underwriting. Buyer to bring more cash. So these are the outcomes. Buyer can bring more cash. Now, here's the thing. Settlement can be delayed because the buyer may say, hey, look, yeah, I'll bring additional cash to buy the house, but I don't have it at the moment, but I'll have it in 2 weeks when I get my next paycheck, or I'll get a gifting letter or funding or something. I'll have to liquidate maybe an investment that maybe takes a week to do or whatever it is. That happens. That can definitely delay a settlement. A buyer says, I just need a little more time to get a little more cash. I wasn't expecting this. Same with seller to lower their price. A second appraisal or appraisal reconsideration. Wow, this is a big one. Okay, delays can happen whenever. Okay, so a seller says, I don't agree with the appraisal. It's BS, and I want another one done, and I'm even willing to pay for it myself. The seller doesn't get to choose the appraisal and the way the game is played and all that stuff. No, it's the lender, period. The underwriter and the lender and the investor. So they can have it re-looked at, and it's a reconsideration of value, they call it. So what happens is, if I'm selling the house and the appraisal comes in low, I can go back and say, hey, we want an opportunity as a seller. We want an opportunity as an agent to be able to give additional information, because the seller sees the appraisal, and we may say, hey, the square footage is wrong, or this isn't right, or that's not right. We can always question factual data and things that have been missing or aren't correct. And that could change the valuation to a degree, no doubt about it. And then there's other times they'll give consideration. And then again, they don't have to. It's not mandatory. And it's all up to what the underwriter and the lender will allow in that kind of a situation. But to get a full-blown second appraisal, that's pretty rare on the lending side. Now, let's say it's a cash deal and the buyer's doing their own. They've hired their own out and it doesn't come in. They're not happy. It's still a problem with the value. That's when we see it more predominantly. That would be a second opinion, a full-blown second appraisal. And sometimes the sellers are willing to split the cost or pay for all of it, because they're like, hey, I'd rather pay $600 or $800 to find out rather than come down $10,000 or $30,000 in price because the appraisal I don't agree with. And so this gets a little tricky, but these are the things that can definitely delay settlement timeframes and such. All right, buyer delays. Let's get into this one. Failure to provide required documentation. Oh, help us, Jesus. Yeah. Listen, buyers, the lenders are usually pretty quick to say you need 2 years of tax returns. That's been the hardest one. When it's like right around March or April, doing a loan, I tell people, buyers, you got to do your taxes as fast as you can, because you can't say, oh, I didn't know you needed this year, the tax return, this last one, because it's not April 15th yet. No. You need to get that done. They need that one. So we've seen that before. I've had almost a delay because of that, because it does take time to get. So required documents important. Delay in wiring closing of funds. This could be a big delay. This is something, as soon as that closing disclosure goes out and the buyer knows exactly how much cash they need for closing, they need to wire the money to the title company or get a cashier's check pronto. Okay. Like right away. You can go get a cash check and do it that day, but they don't like that most of the time. They want that money wired the day before, because if it's over $10,000, it takes a little time to pass through the Fed, all the regulations, making sure it's not fraudulent, blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff like that. So these take time to do. Failure to obtain homeowners insurance, big one. Big one. We've seen this. Buyers at the last minute, they have homeowner insurance quote. They're going to get a binder, a policy in place. And then all of a sudden, the last second, it's a week or less, 2 days before settlement. And they're like, I was shopping around and I think I got a better rate for my homeowners. So can we push settlement out? No. That can really mess stuff up because, again, this stuff, the lender needs to know you have a policy in place or the loan can't be signed off on clear to close because it's all about risk. That's why. So make sure I have my buyers find out about a home insurance quote before we put an offer in on the house. Last thing I want is a surprise. And I really don't want a buyer changing gears 2 seconds before the finish line because that's going to be a disaster. Now, you can always change later. You can call Connie up later, but call her first. Call her today because she's awesome. And they will really help you out and you're good to go. And you don't have no surprises with that. And the other big thing with home insurance is not every property is insurable by all the different companies. And so if you wait and then you find out as a buyer, like, what do you mean I can't get insurance on the policy? This is the one I have for my cars and my other stuff. That's where the problem can be as well, because a lot of people like to bundle it together and stay with that same thing. And now they've got to break away and go, well, I got to go start all over again, finding insurance. Missing required signatures. This can delay things. Missing required signatures. We would call that POA, power of attorney. Just almost had that happen. If you're not going to be present at settlement as a buyer, the only way you can keep from a settlement being not delayed, get a power of attorney and do it right away. It's in my packet. It's right there, black and white. But sometimes things change. People, they're planning on being at settlement, and then all of a sudden they can't be. And that can also be for a seller as well. So, and then last minute changes to financing. Oh, dear God, that's another big one. This really revolves around, oh, the interest rates went down. I could get a better rate. Hold on, let's delay settlement. That's why the lender is going to go through with you with what is called a floating rate or buy down and other factors that are already built into place. So there's no delays because it's already there. So, all right, we're going to thank our sponsors here real quick, and then I'll be back to finish up last segment of the awesome program here about what in the world are the factors and things that you as a seller and buyer must pay attention to so that you get to settle on time and it doesn't get delayed and all hell doesn't break loose with real estate. So thank you guys so much. Here's our awesome sponsors.
How much should law enforcement be able to see when you drive down the street? Flock cameras are raising serious questions about public safety, privacy, tracking, and your data. Now, Everything Frederick Live is bringing the conversation face to face. Join Maryland gubernatorial candidate Dan Cox, Frederick County Sheriff Chuck Jenkins, retired Frederick Police Lieutenant Jason Keckler, and State Senator William Folden for a special Flock Camera Town Hall. The questions are yours. The conversation starts here. Join us Wednesday, August 26th at 7 p.m. on Everything Frederick Live.
On experience. Hi, I'm Terry Kernan, Vice President and Branch Manager of Presidential Bank Mortgage in Frederick. Today's podcast is brought to you by Presidential Bank Mortgage in Frederick. Since I opened the branch in July of 1999, we've built our success on experience, stability, and exceptional customer service. In fact, most of our team has been with us for over 10 years, and over 1/3 have been with us for more than 20 years. So whether you're buying your first home, building your dream home, investing with a DSCR loan, or just plain old refinancing, we offer every major loan program nationwide and are licensed in all 50 states. Give my team a call at Presidential Bank Mortgage, where experience truly makes the difference.
Sponsored by Lawn Squad. Quick and easy quote, and you can be on your way to having the best lawn in the neighborhood. Watch the progress as Brian from Lawn Squad brings Danny's lawn back to life. Visit lawnsquad.com.
All right. I'm Darren Ahearn with RE/MAX Results. And I'm back for your weekly real estate update right here in Studio 401 for the Everything Live platform. So thank you guys for being here. Everything Frederick stuff. We got this for you. All right, drop your comments in. You guys need to let me know what questions, cares, thoughts, concerns you have about real estate. What is on your mind that you would like to know about, or just share your story, and we'd love to know about it, wins and anything else. So, all right, what are the big delays? What are the things that can cause settlement to go sideways and have it delayed or not happen at all? We never want that. All right, what are the seller's responsibility side? It's the seller, Your Honor. They're the ones who messed it up. Buyer delays. This is delays. Now, obviously, the thing that could really screw stuff up, bad, catastrophic, is a buyer just not showing up to buy the house. Somebody said, "Can that even happen?" Oh yeah, it happens. Oh yeah, they go MIA. So, I've had it happen one time in my entire career. Totally MIA, missing in action, gone. Lost his deposit. We couldn't find him. He's gone. Lost his deposit to the seller and everything. It was a cash deal. It was a very expensive house. And yeah, that was kind of weird, but it can happen. It can happen. So seller delays, same thing. Seller, you got to show up the settlement. All right, sellers cannot move out on time. Woo! Yeah, our moving company, they got delayed a little bit. And so I had a seller one time ask me, they said, "Oh, I didn't know that. I heard that we were allowed to stay here until a day or 2 or 3 days after settlement. We didn't have to move till after. Unless you got a rent back, unless you have an agreement with the buyer. No, you have to have all your stuff out. Broom, sweep, and clean. Done when you go sign the papers at settlement date. So pay attention to that, making sure you make the right arrangements to be out on time. So I will share this story. This is a funny one. This wouldn't have happened if I wasn't the one buying the house. But when I bought my house 13 years ago, God bless the people. They were just precious people. It was tough. They didn't, half their furniture and half the stuff they couldn't get out on time. They had the seller's mother literally was dying at the hospital. She was at the hospital and this happened and going through a divorce and this was going on. It was crazy. They had 7 kids between them and it was really, really unbelievable. 2 things happened is we settled and I took them, me and my sons and friends, we took the furniture, some of it, to the seller's place where they ended up because they just couldn't come back and get it. They didn't have the time. They didn't have the trucks, the means, no nothing. And half of it, the stuff they didn't want, I took pictures. They were just like, keep it. You can have it if you want it. So that was not even agreed upon. If that would have not been me as a real estate agent buying the house and knowing how this all works, man, a buyer would have flipped. They would have flipped out, the seller not moving out on time and having their stuff out and everything like that. So I've heard buyers wanting to threaten to not settle because, a seller left, 2 pieces of furniture there. And they don't have to, but they can always make arrangements, but it's important. Sellers cannot locate the required documents. Yeah. Seller's ID. I don't know where my license is. I don't have no ID identification. I can't settle on time. I got to get something. Could be a lot of things. And outstanding mortgage payoff issues. That, the settlement company, I have one right now. They just started to get the payoff information for the seller. They normally try to do that about a week and a half to 2 weeks before settlement. I almost get nervous because a lot of these servicers, we call them, the banks, the servicing departments, they can get overwhelmed, especially HELOC loans. Those second loans, you would think they'd be really anxious to get that paid off and that money over first because they're in second position. But not always. It actually takes a little bit longer for some of those and credit unions and others to get payoff information. So they do good at what they do, but sometimes they take a little bit longer. Sellers refusing or delays. And so this is the seller that's delaying, not giving the title company also the information. The title company immediately sends a welcome form and making sure you get all your personal information, your account numbers and all that. But if the seller doesn't fill it out and send it in, well, then they can't get the payoff. So you got to be on top of it, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Seller refuses or delays the repairs agreed. Oh, man. This is Pandora's box right here, boys and girls. A seller refuses to do the repairs as agreed in the contract. I can't even wrap my brain around it sometimes. I mean, a seller that just says, oh, yeah, I kind of remember 2 weeks ago we signed something about, fixing XYZ at the house and stuff, but we just didn't get around to getting a contractor. I don't know. We just been busy. That's craziness. That is nuts. I am crazy when there's repairs being made to not only on the sell side to make sure I help and get these done with the sellers, but I am really nutty when I'm on the buy side. To make sure these are getting done. Because if not, it delays things. Or the seller, they have to put money in escrow and then the lenders get all mad about it and it can just mess everything up bad. It can be ugly, guys. I can tell you right now. Estate or probate issues preventing transfer. Oh, that's a big one too. If you're selling a house, and I got one coming up now, it's in a trust. No matter what entity, investors like LLC, a trust, live irrevocable trust, you name it, whatever it's in, you got to have the paperwork ready to go. You got to show me as your agent, this is the legal entity and this is the person that's allowed to sign on behalf of the entity. All right. These are the decision makers. You have to have that. But when it comes to these estates and probates and issues preventing transfer, this is whenever the documentation, this is when you don't have everything, and then all of a sudden the title company comes back and says, hey, this isn't the right thing. This is outdated. It's expired. It's, you name it. Like, I've heard it all. This is so important because this stuff, you can't fix this stuff in like a day or two. This is stuff that an attorney, the real estate attorneys and such, they're like, we need it takes like 3 days to file this and do this right and make this correct and get this notarized and done and filed and recorded, blah, blah. So 3 to 4 days. And so you don't want to be waiting around. You don't want to scramble. And by the way, 3 or 4 day settlement delays can be catastrophic. I mean, I had one recent that due to a baby on the way and this and the financing and the lock getting unlocked and it was not going to work the next day and they weren't going to be qualified if they didn't settle this day and all that. This is for real stuff. These are called drop dead dates. This is like non-negotiable. This is high alert stuff. There's zero flexibility at all in some of these transactions. Settlement company or attorney issues, closing documents are incomplete. That would be on the title. Okay, check this out. This is, buyers, I love you. By marital law, you get to choose your lender and the title company. But please, you don't want to just, I was on the internet and I found this title company. I found the remote, they'll do remote settlements and bring a notary and a travel notary and they'll charge $29.95. That's going to be a disaster. You get what you pay for, bottom line. And having an attorney like Brianne at Community Title does not cost more. It's pretty substandard fees and things, okay? Why would you not do that? That's just craziness. That's nuts. It really is. Because it is so detrimental to make sure that you have somebody that really knows what the heck they're doing and has a good team to make sure there's nothing incomplete with the closing documents. The other one, errors in the settlement statement sheet. This could delay only because not on the seller side, because the lender could care less about the settlement sheet for the seller side ultimately, for the most part, from my knowledge. What they care about is their side. They care about their risk. They care about the buyer side. You can't, we used, when I got into this, we used to be able to give credit to the last minute. Oh, the house isn't clean enough. Okay, you want $200? Fine. Literally at settlement, at the settlement table before the ink, by the time we're doing ink still, the settlement company could change the settlement sheet, give the buyer $200 credit out of the proceeds from the seller on the spot. Boy, I miss those days. Be it a repair, it could be anything. It could be any last second. Hey, we want to buy your dog. How much is your dog? Okay, put it on the settlement statement sheet. I mean, I kid you not. This stuff we could do this. It happened. And then it all changed. Any change practically that happens on the settlement sheet, it has to go back through underwriting, which means it's not a day. It could take 2 days before the underwriter sees everything and signs off on the changes. So we don't typically, it's like a roller coaster. Man, that thing's going over the hill 2 days, 3 days before settlement. There ain't no changing. Don't do anything crazy. So errors in the settlement statement sheet, incorrect legal descriptions. That's important. Scheduling conflicts. Yeah, that's, oh man. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is a big one. This is more important, Mr. Buyer and Seller, than going to your doctor. And a lot of people, they take off a day of work to go to the doctor. I am utterly amazed. You're buying the biggest thing in your whole life. And it's like, we have to work. We don't have time for this. What? You need 1 hour, like 1 hour, baby. But this is the thing, scheduling conflicts, please block out your schedule the day of settlement and be wide open for that as much as possible, because you have to show up and perform according to contract. It's a legal binding contract. It's not like going to your doctor's, I'll just cancel my appointment and I'll go next week or whenever they have the next opening. That's not buying a house or selling a house, guys. Now, the one nice thing is the sellers can sign before the buyers. They can sign early. I've had that happen many times. Hours earlier, day earlier, maybe 3 days earlier, whatever it is. Buyers, when you got a loan, oh no, when that gets funded, you need to settle that day. Any change, it changes the interest, the per diem days, all that stuff. It changes all of it. Missing signatures, that's a bad one. And then recording office, delays. And so recording office delays, this was really only a problem during COVID. This was when the government was shut down, of course, who can forget that? And these deeds and all this stuff couldn't be recorded. There was nobody working, or there was limited people, and it was taking longer. And so it got all backed up. But we were doing settlements, but the deeds, all the paperwork just was not getting recorded in a real timely fashion. So, all right, we're going to wrap this up, and we next week, and we're going to do Amy, and then after we do Amy Phillips from the insurance, we're going to have her on and share a lot of great stuff, and then I'm going to dive right back into this with all the things that can delay or mess up settlements, things that just are not fun to deal with. But this is why you have someone like myself. Hey, guys, I don't just help people just buying a house or selling a house. This is about people's lives. This is about helping you in a journey that is so complex and crazy at times. You can't make stuff up, for real. And the rules, the laws, the protocols, the way it happens, the information that's needed, it changes and grows by the minute, it feels like, okay? And it really takes someone that's really experienced, that has a heart of passion. I saw a cool post today. Hey, if your real estate agent is calling you at 9:00 at night with an update, it's because they love you. It's because they're passionate and they want to make sure that you are in the know, that you're taken care of, and everything is all good. And it's really, really important. So, all right. Thank you guys so much for tuning into your real estate update. I am Darren Ahearn. We're here every single Monday night, coming to you, bringing you the best, hottest, latest, and greatest real estate news and all the other subjects and things that revolve around housing. So happy buying and selling. Appreciate you guys. And God bless America. Take care now.
Thanks for joining Darren Ahearn on your real estate update. For more smart local real estate insight, market trends, and practical advice for buyers, sellers, and homeowners, follow and subscribe to stay one step ahead.
This episode is a proud production of the Everything Frederick Live Podcast Network, your home for Frederick's best podcasts, streaming daily on YouTube.